Welcome back, everyone, to episode 2 of the Minot Business Podcast presented by Bennett Creative Media. I'm your host, Easton Bennett, and we have a very special guest with us today. Excited for this one because he is also into film like I am. So, Adam Dyess. Is it Dyess or Dice? Or is it like a combo?
It really just depends. It's Dyess.
Okay, Dyess.
Yeah.
So Adam Dyess with Dyess Media.
But, in grade school, I was always just called Dice Man.
Okay.
Everybody was called it Dice.
So we'll just call him D-Man.
D-Man.
D-Man. Adam.
Your man.
Adam
D-Man.
D. Adam, good to have you on the show.
Yeah. Glad to be here. Glad you were able to fit me into your tight schedule.
Oh, exactly. We crammed him right in there, and here we are. So we're going to go, obviously, I know a little bit about you, a little bit more about you than the average viewer watching this probably. So introduction, what do you do? What's your thing, Adam?
I ask myself that every day when I wake up. But I do video production, editing, all that good stuff, and also do web development. I have basically 2 businesses that kind of work in tandem. I have Dyess Media, that's more of the video production, some graphic design, and then I have Web Funnel Express, which is all web development. Okay, cool. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about right off the get here.
Obviously, we're both in the video production world. Mm-hmm. You do things a little bit differently than I. I focus strictly on video because all that other stuff's way over my head, and you go down a couple different avenues. So maybe talk to me about, how did you start? Did you start with just video, or did you start with on the website, or what is your origin story?
My origin story. Well, my parents didn't get killed in an alley, so it's not that cool. But I graduated high school. I grew up in Florida. I graduated high school in '99, and immediately went to Florida State University because I had a scholarship there, but had no idea what I wanted to do in my life.
Okay.
So I just kind of mingled there for 2 years, taking the BS classes that they have you take.
The generals, that's why college is a scam.
The generals is stupid. I hated it. And then, decided that wasn't for me, and decided just to go work for a while. And I went to work with my dad in Alabama for Tyson Foods, and had a good job and made decent money. And I bought a house and bought a nice car, and decided I hated that because it sucked. I hated the job.
Yeah. So what were you doing at Tyson Foods?
I was a parts room manager at one of their transportation truck stops.
Okay.
So it was like the big one in the state. Mm-hmm. So it paid good, and I just hated it though. It was just it sucked. So
wasn't very fulfilling. I'm guessing. That's one thing. That's one thing I talk about. You have to have a job that is fulfilling to go to every single day.
And that was proof right there, because I was doing well. I had money. I had a house. I was like 23 years old. I had a house, nice car, and all this other stuff. But I just hated going to work every day. So then I got very heavily marketed to by Full Sail University.
Okay.
Because I wanted to go to film school. I loved movies all my life. I was a huge film nerd all my life. So I was like, I want to go make movies. I had written some scripts and stuff. And so that's where I started looking into film school. And I was looking at different places. The crappy thing was, as in hindsight, I am a huge Auburn football fan.
Okay.
And I was living in Alabama at the time, and I could have got in-state tuition and went to Auburn. And
do they have a film program?
They don't have a film program. That's the only reason I didn't go. They have a broadcast program, just like what they have here at MSU. Mm-hmm. And I was really close to going that route, and I would have been graduating the year that they won the national championship. So it was like, I missed that.
Kicking yourself a little bit there.
A little bit, but I ended up going to Full Sail because like I said, they did a great job marketing to me. And I went to Full Sail. It was 21 months straight film program.
Were there any other schools that you were debating between? Because I know there's a pretty big one in San Diego, something like that.
I wasn't going to go to California. Okay. As soon as I started searching for film schools, they started popping up everywhere because they were marketing to me. And I had a connection there. My brother had a good friend that went there. Or he was going there. He was a year ahead of me.
Okay.
And he was there then as I was talking. So I got a lot of feedback from him, and he was telling me how great it was and all this stuff. Cool. So
he was on their sales team.
Yeah. He was like getting kickbacks from them. But then I decided, okay, cool. It's like $75,000.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that's a lot of money. And I don't want to be working while I'm there because it's a full, you're going to class all the time. It's 21 months straight. So it's like,
so it's not like a traditional college.
Not a traditional college, more of a technical college where you're going 1 month as a class, basically.
Okay.
And I couldn't take any of my stuff from Florida State to go over because they have to they intermingle all of your
credits, I guess would be called, or something like that.
Yeah, all the generals get intermingled. So you have like a math class, but it would be, they've tailored it to like budgeting and all this stuff for film. And
that's what I always wondered, because I obviously didn't go to film school, but I wondered if the classes were all strictly like for film, or if you had to take like generals like a regular
at
college.
a traditional college you would. So if you went to, USC or someplace like that.
I think USC is the other film school I was thinking of. They got a pretty big one?
Yeah, that's the big one that everybody goes to. It's in Hollywood. It's structured like that. You have to take your generals, and then you just like any other major, you have these other classes that you have to take. But Full Sail is different because they just intermingle all that in, and that was kind of their draw, is like they have people from the industry teaching some of these classes. They have a sound stage set up. Like every day you're doing something hands-on with cameras and learning how to do stuff. And it was from the full gamut of, you take a photography class, you learn photography, then you take a digital video class, you learn.
Which I think is way cooler than
it was super cool. And this is 2006. Okay. So the cameras we're using now all did not exist at that time.
So you're using like film cameras back then, or was it digital?
We shot a film on film camera. We used digital cameras, but they were the big E&G cameras. Okay. The big Sonys. We had a Alexa, first generation Alexa is what we were using.
That's some of these. Sweet.
Yeah, they were super awesome. But we were learning all that, bit by bit. And a lot of people went there. Majority of people go there, they want to direct or whatever. Yeah. And then people started, like, oh, I really enjoy the sound stuff, and became sound guys. And then you had people that were like, I'm a production manager. Like, I like this side of it.
Would they have you split up into different routes? So did you get to like pick? Because I assume you learn all of them, but did you have to like pick a route? Like, okay, I want to go into be a DP, or now I want to be a director or producer.
Toward the end of the program is when they start, you start having, student projects where, you're going to do a digital film, and then you do a film project. And then you have a couple of smaller ones in between that where you like simulate doing commercials and stuff like that. Okay. And then you basically apply for the positions that you want to be a part of in that. So I got to do directing on one of the projects, one of the digital projects. And then I was a production manager on two of the two film projects that we did.
And did you like directing more than
I totally did. Manager, I totally, like, it solidified my passion for directing. Like, I like seeing the big picture and being able to get that vision.
Shape it together.
Yeah, get that vision across. And there are other people that were just way better at just like, tell me what you want and I'll make that happen. There was a couple of guys that just like fell in love with lighting. And they're like, I don't give a crap about the acting side of things. Yeah. Like, I like making things look beautiful.
See,
and
that's
I love running the cameras.
That's where I think if I was to go down film school, I learned from YouTube University, but if I wasn't a DP, director, whatever, I would definitely go the route of the lighting. Yeah. Because I think that's my favorite part of the whole video process, is figuring out how to light something really cool.
Yeah. And it's kind of one of those things where, like, to us in the industry, like, we geek out about that stuff. And when something's lit well, we notice it and we talk about it or whatever. If something's lit terrible, we point it out. But it's kind of like one of those hidden tricks too. Like, the general audience, like, if it's lit really well, they're like,
you shouldn't be able to tell.
They're really enjoying it. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know why that movie's so awesome. It's like, and they may know, hey, it was beautiful.
It's like there's a reason for that.
There's a reason for that, because they lit it really well, and then it didn't take you out of the movie. It brought you into the movie. And so, all that stuff was cool. But to wrap up my origin story, we're just going to make this all about my origin story and work the other things in. So I graduated valedictorian in my class because I was there for no bullshit. Yeah, thank you. It was between me and my best friend who was there. And
you beat him up the night before, so he couldn't be it.
Actually, he beat himself up because he had like a little argument with one of the professors.
Really?
And he refused to do what the professor was asking him to do for class, and ended up failing that class, and that dropped him a couple points below me.
Oh no!
Yeah, and he was like, "I don't care. I don't care about any of that. I'm not." He was like, "I'm taking a stand here."
Was what he was arguing?
I don't even remember.
Least, okay.
I don't even remember what it was. All I remember was like, okay, dude, you were going to get valedictorian, but you like had that argument and decided not to do the work he was asking you to do. And all right, whatever. And I actually didn't know that till graduation, till our commencement, where we were walking. Because my parents were like, why didn't you tell us? And I was like, I didn't know. I thought I had a good idea, but I didn't know. So that was super cool. But the placement side, they wanted everybody to go to LA, and there wasn't really a placement program. That was my one qualm really with school. The experience was great, but
They didn't know how to get you somewhere after that.
There wasn't really a system to that, and Full Sail students kind of had a bad rep at that time. They were getting a bad rep where they would show up on sets and stuff and think they knew everything. Because
so is Full Sail, is that strictly a film school? Like you can't go there to be a teacher, can you? Or can you?
So that's another thing. You could stay on for their master program.
Okay.
And then some of the teachers were coming back from after graduating. Like there was incentives to kind of recycle into that. So some people stayed, and I think a couple of people from my class are still there.
But can I go there and get a business management degree?
They have different degrees, and they were introducing a lot of that in the time that I went. I'm not sure what they have now.
Okay.
Like I said, this was 2006. I graduated in 2008.
So at the time, it was pretty much all film.
It was a film. It was music school first.
Really?
It's a music recording, music production, engineering school first.
Okay,
and then they brought on film. And then when I was there, they were bringing on the game design side. So you can go there for game design. And then
that's pretty cool.
Right after I graduated, they were really pushing the game design side. Like that was all their marketing.
That's the trend.
Yeah. So I don't know what it's like right now. I get emails from them every once in a while, but so I didn't want to go to LA.
Yep.
And number one, I was broke at that point. Like I sold my house, sold my car, sold everything so I could just live. They didn't have dorms or anything either. So I had to get an apartment in Orlando.
Okay.
Which was like $2,000 a month.
Where was Full Sail at, did you say?
It's just north of Orlando. It's in Winter Park. Okay.
I don't know why I thought it was in like Seattle.
No, it's down South Florida.
I don't even know where that came from, but I always pictured when I hear Full Sail that it's up towards Seattle.
Up in Washington?
Yeah, I don't know. Full Sail boats? Do they have like sailboats up there? Maybe
no, actually it's supposed to like be a plane, like a big DC-9 plane.
My I had no idea where that came from, but it's not right. And I'm just learning that.
Maybe it was an alternate reality.
Could be. Yeah. Maybe there's like a lesser film school in Seattle.
Yeah.
And it's like Full Sail with 3
And
L's
that reality, you went to Full Sail and I went to YouTube.
Exactly.
Which I wish YouTube would have been around. I teach people that all the time now. It's like, don't go to film school. Just go on YouTube. Man, Skillshare, YouTube, like just start doing
Even now,
it.
Masterclass. I think Scorsese has a Masterclass out there.
Got all that stuff down. I'm like, damn, I would just like 10 years too early or too late, whichever you want to look at it. It was just right there in that cusp. Because as soon as I graduated, the GH1 came out.
Okay.
And there was that whole hack where you could like basically hack the GH1 and make it like a film camera. A film camera. Yeah. And I did that right after I graduated, made a short film with it, and it was like, oh, this is awesome. Like these cameras are amazing. And then they just kept evolving to, what we're using now.
Now we have crazy stuff today.
Yeah, crazy stuff. And the Red was a big deal. It was coming out at the time.
Okay.
The Red.
Like the original Red.
The original Red was being developed right when I was in film school. And when I graduated, like movies like Book of Eli and like that were being shot on the Red. And it was like a huge deal. Like it's going digital. And I remember the other professor was talking about, man, he was prophetic. He was like, in about 10 years, everything's going to be VOD. Video on demand. Everything's going to be, you can get whatever, you watch whatever you want. And we were like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And then he's right. Yeah.
Yeah. We still have flip phones at this point, And he's just like, no, I'm telling you, like, that's the thing that's going to happen. It's like the industry is going to shift to video on demand will be the number one thing.
And now we're 16 years later. And
16 years later.
He couldn't have been more right.
If he'd been selling stock, I should have bought it.
Yeah. So I'm going to cut you off a little bit here. I'm sure that's the majority of your story, but we'll get into more of it, I'm sure. So you mentioned you were always interested in film. Growing up as a kid, were you just really into movies or what was that like?
VHS was my babysitter sometimes.
There you go.
My parents were in a band and they played at the local bars, and we had our cousins come over and babysit us a lot of times on the weekends.
Okay.
And they would just stock up on a bunch of rentals from VHSs. And man, I watched so many 80s horror movies and 90s horror movies. And yeah.
So do you have like one turning point, one age where you knew like I want to make movies one day? Was it when you were 23 and had your own place, or was it?
No, it was before that, really. But I can't recall if there was an actual moment. But we, during those times when we were at home during the weekends with our cousins babysitting us, we broke out the camcorder and would make little films for
little home movies.
Yeah, little home movies. Yeah, absolutely. We would make up horror movies and all kinds of stuff. And me and my cousins would, I'd be filming them and directing them, and I didn't even know that's what I was doing at the time, but it was like we thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
And in high school, I was head of the video department or whatever when we do the school show or whatever, and I would do that so that I had access to all the toys at the high school, video department.
Okay.
So I was making stop motion animations for the intros for
those. Couldn't have been easy to make.
morning
Did
show.
they take forever? Doesn't stop motion take like forever?
It takes a long time, but I thought it was so cool. I would have Scrabble pieces come out and say things like I did.
Oh, really?
Like,
Okay.
It was
kind of like
cool.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
Isn't there something like that in the intro with the titling?
I think maybe there is.
There's some moving letters or something, or maybe it's like in food, like a bowl of soup.
Yeah,
or
I think
something.
they wrote with ketchup. They wrote some of the crew and stuff. Yeah.
But that's one thing going through high school. Like I didn't really know I liked video until I was like 19, 20 years old, and I was living in Canada. And I took my parents' camera and I thought I was going to start a Jimmy Fallon type show on YouTube. I call it the Bennett Show, and it's crash and burn. Didn't know anything about anything. And that's one thing I wish going through high school, I would have taken like film study, and I would have taken, they don't have a film class there, but they have like a photography media type class.
Yep.
And I didn't take any of that because I had no idea I liked it.
Yeah, I didn't. I think I did take the photography class, but I didn't really think about that either until later, where I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna figure out.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, though, it was kind of like I said, the technology change was a big deal. Like it was such a pipe dream to go and make a movie, but now it's like, oh well, you can go get a DSLR with a nice lens, and like you can shoot an independent film for next to nothing, and it will look good. Like that mystery of how the films look so good when my freaking camcorder here with VHS tape on it looks like crap.
Yeah.
Like, how do I make this look better? And
a lot of it is not even like the camera anymore. It's the lighting, and it's the sound plays into it, and
and
locations,
then when you
actors.
figure that out, maybe you could actually shoot something that looks really good on a VHS camcorder.
That's when it becomes a game changer.
If you got the lighting down, like if you got the lighting skills down, you can make it look really good.
One thing I want to pivot into here, obviously you run a business here in Minot. How did you go about starting your business in Minot? Like, how did you even get to Minot? You said you were at Full Sail. How did you get here and start this business?
Yep. So, long story short, to pick up where we left off, I ended up going back to Alabama with my dad and starting independent filmography business there. Yep. It was mainly churches and small organizations, ties to people that I had before I left, and this is 2008. Middle of the economy was in the tank.
Oh yeah, I suppose that's when the housing market took a dump.
Yeah. So it was really tough then, and it was just like, this isn't gonna work. So my brother was living here at the time with his wife. She was from here.
Okay.
So he was like, in 2008, 2009 oil boom in North Dakota. He was like, dude, there's tons of money to be made here. Just move up here. You can stay with us for a little bit until you get your feet under you. And so I was like, sure, I got nothing. I've had 2 suitcases full of stuff, and I'm like, I'm here, and my guitar, and that was it. It's like I was hoboing it up.
And it's bindle. He had a stick in a bindle.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't even drive up here. He walked up here.
I even took the train. Like I flew into Fargo and took the train from Fargo to Minot.
That's the
true, the snow.
That's the true North Dakota experience.
Yeah, in the snow. It was blizzarding and everything. It was So put that in the movie.
And bio. And so once you got here, you started the film right away.
Yeah. Well, no, I was looking around for people that were hiring.
Yep.
And then I, in the meantime, started working for the newspaper. I was running the circulation. I was in the circulation department as a district manager. I did that for about a year, and then I hooked up with a local guy named Peter Rice. Okay. He had an agency, a small agency, and called PRNA Communications. Mm-hmm. So I hooked up with him, and he needed a few things shot, and then he was like, I could use you on these other things. So I ended up working for him for about 10 years. Okay. Being his production manager, shooting commercials.
And that was all video stuff.
All video stuff.
Because I know Peter. I've done a little bit of stuff with, I think I met Peter once, but I know Amanda. Yeah. So you got started then, and then when did you know that you wanted to branch off and do your own thing?
Peter was kind of winding his stuff down. Okay. And had a friend of mine that will work with me there. I got him working there with me. He's a very talented artist, Sean Keeney, and we decided to create our own company to break away. Yeah. And we did that, and that didn't go so well because we couldn't really decide what really we wanted to do. We were trying to make board games as well because we were big time into that, and it just wasn't a good split.
Yeah.
We ended up focusing more on the videography at the end because,
board games and videography. That's
it didn't really, we were too artistic for our own good.
Okay.
But
hands in too many cookie jars.
Yeah. But then I went and worked for No Deck Speedway for a little bit. And at that point, that's when I was like, okay, I was their only employee and I was the marketing director for the No Deck Speedway. And I was doing the stuff that needed to be done, but at the heart of it was like finding ways to do more video stuff with them, and how can we do more course stuff and shooting commercials for them. And then I was like, why don't, and then I started getting hit up by people that knew me through Peter to do stuff on the side. They were like, we need video, we need all this stuff. It was, past clients or whatever. So I was like, why don't we do this? Why don't I start my own agency? And then No Deck Speedway will be one of my clients. Yeah. And that's kind of where it started.
Which is smart because you at least knew.
Yep.
You knew you had a place to actually step.
Yes.
When you started it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. There was a demand there.
Yeah.
The demand for the skills that I had, that people knew I had those skills. So that's really what happened to, push me to create Dyess Media and just start doing it.
Well, that kind of covers my next question because I was going to ask, how your first client, that kind of thing. How did you get into that? How did you go about getting your first clients when you were back in Alabama, those churches and those other places?
It was through a few people my dad knew, and it was just a demand. They had an idea of what they wanted, and they were like, we need this. We want to do some production, promo videos.
And was it a thing where they kind of just took a shot on you? Because I know
I was cheap.
Yeah. And that's how I start too. I did a bunch of free videos to start, and it's always like, do people just want to give you a shot? Do they doing it because it's cheap? Are they just being nice?
Yeah.
And that's what it's always interesting to hear people's first client stories.
It's funny though, the dynamic between that sales meeting with somebody that's contacted you because they got an idea of what they want.
Yep.
Versus walking into somebody and selling them something like,
saying, this is what you need.
This is what you need. It's usually, I don't know which one is actually harder because sometimes it's easier to tell somebody what they need versus listening to what they think they want.
They think they need.
And then saying, well, that's not really what you have the budget for or what you really need. So it's an interesting dynamic there. But
so then you moved up here. Obviously, you are operating a business in Minot, North Dakota. How was it getting that business off the ground and kind of networking with clients and meeting with new clients? How was that experience? How did you go about meeting with those clients?
I'm benefited from networking a lot through the years that I'd been here up until that point. So I'd been here for about 10 years up until that point, 2019. And plus working for the No Deck Speedway, I'd met a lot of people. There's a lot of business owners that are into racing and things like that. I networked a lot, and
especially being the marketing director for No Deck Speedway, I assume all the sponsors and everything
made a lot of connections, and there was a lot of 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon going on.
Where
it's, especially in Minot, you know how it is. It's like,
oh, exactly.
So and so. Oh, I know so and so, and then his brother or her sister. Yeah, I know.
And that's where it's we were talking about before this. Never burn any bridges because you never know who anyone knows. Burn one bridge, you might burn 10.
Yeah. Unless it's a bridge that just
you can let them down easy.
That needs to go down.
You can disassemble the bridge instead of hitting it with a wrecking ball.
Sometimes you have that bridge that just won't go away, and you just need to
exactly
strike a match.
So, what would you say your favorite part of running the business is? Do you have a favorite part? Is it the directing part? Is it the working with clients? Is it pre-production? What would you say your favorite is?
It's kind of a tough question because I love the business side of things, and I'm always trying to educate myself more on being a business owner. Always reading books on, different ways to, grow your business and run your business and organize and develop processes and systems and all that stuff. And I'm like, I found that cool because I program on the side too. That's another one of my hobbies is, game programming. So I have that kind of analytical mind where I'm like, I want to be organized and I want things to work together. An idea of systems and stuff like that. Just like, yes. That stuff's great. But also I've gotten to the point where there's a switch that you can turn on when I get on, go to do a set or a shoot or something like that. And sometimes it's turn the switch on and check out and just be like, let your skills just do what they do. And
that's where it's nice being in the game for so long. You can
do that.
You can trust yourself.
Yeah.
You know what you know.
I know it's going to be good and all that. And then my favorite part is when you get those little passion projects, those little things that are like, you get a few people excited about, you're excited about doing it. It's not about the money. It's not about like developing something that's going to lead to some other job or something like that.
Just doing it because you're having fun.
Just doing it because you're having fun, and like, it's going to be fun to do. And I get to do those things quite often as well. So my goal right now is, because of guys like you and a few other people in town that I know, we work well together and stuff. Like, I don't feel like I need to be this go-to one-stop shop for videography. Like, if I have a big enough thing, and this has happened before,
we've done this a lot.
I want to direct it. I have you come and shoot it. You bring all your gear and your little grip truck. Have you named your grip truck yet?
No, I think we should have a vote. I've never even put it at. Majority of the audience probably doesn't even know. I started a van build out series, and the 3 episodes that I need to finish are just sitting in the vault.
Well,
but maybe this would be.
It should end with the naming.
We should on this episode of the podcast. Let's have some comments below on what we should name the truck.
Yeah. It should mean something.
Yeah.
Eric just got his little transit van, and it's been breaking down. It's been a horrible situation for him.
Oh no, really?
Back and forth from the dealership. And I saw his wife, and when I walked in, I was like, "How's the transit van?" She's like, "We don't talk about it."
Yeah.
Like, should name it Bruno.
Exactly.
So now his transit van's named Bruno because we don't talk about it.
Yeah, we got to find something of what it means, why it means that.
But to get back to what I was saying is there's resources that I know I can use for that side. My goal is to kind of continue to build the web development company so that Dyess Media can be more of that passion project. We're not trying to keep the lights on with videography. Those are the fun things to do that I can take the jobs that I want to take. And I'm getting to that point.
And that's where it's nice where you get to that point in business where, I assume it's the same for you, but for me, when I was starting, I took every job because I needed to, you know what I mean?
Gotta be a yes man.
Yes, exactly. You have to be a yes man. But once you get to that point where you can pick and choose a little bit more, you can put more time into the projects that you are picking, choosing, and you have more time to do those passion projects. Like I know right now we're planning a short film to shoot in June 20th through the 24th in that range. And freeing up my schedule has allowed me to put more resources and time into that project. And even though no one's paying me, it's still allowed for passion projects like that.
And plus you can hone your product a little bit more to be like, I'm doing these jobs at a higher rate for a better product. And I'm not having to say yes to these lower budgeted product, and no offense to those people, but you find that niche. Like there's somebody in town that can do that thing for those other people. And
correct.
And sometimes it might be me or you to be like, it's a quick thing. I can do that. It's lower budget, but you at least, it's not it's not an automatic yes.
It's
not that job dictating what you're going to do. It's you dictating whether you're going to take that job or not.
Correct. Yeah. Which is awesome. I want to pivot a little bit here. Talk about some of the biggest successes and biggest failures. That's something we're going to do on this with every person that comes on the podcast.
Biggest successes.
Is there any? We'll start with successes. Is there anything that you remember happening where it was a really, it was a pat on the back? You're like, okay, this is working. For me personally, it was my first year of video. I started filming a documentary on the Minot Vistas, and I did for no money. I followed them around the whole summer, and someone saw it, and I got a job offer from it. And that's the time when I was thinking, okay, I must be good enough to do this.
Yeah.
If someone wants to hire me a full-time job to do some video stuff. So that was probably my biggest success. Like, okay, I know this works. Do you have a moment or a couple moments where you kind of fist pumped to yourself?
There's been several of those moments. It'd be hard to narrow it down to one, but one that just popped in my mind the most, and it didn't really have that type of follow-up. I mean, it kind of did because I made connections and stuff. But when a MagicCon came to town for the very first time, they were trying to put MagicCon on.
Okay.
This is the time when me and Sean Keeney had our Mike Could Do company.
Yep.
Mike Could Do came from the phrase that I say all the time because I'm from the South. And we might could do that. But so we were talking to Kevin and Melissa and those guys that were putting on a MagicCon, and they had guys from Valiant Comics were coming, and they were like, hey, what would be cool is if we had like a short film to show at a MagicCon. So you have this little premiere of a short film. And I'm like, cool, we'll develop a short film for this and premiere it there. So we were like, okay, it's 2 weeks away. So we're going to
shoot and edit
a short film in 2 weeks. And we wrote, and I wanted to do like a callback to like Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal type of just, 80s cheese action fight club type of stuff. So we wrote this short called One Last Fight. It's on YouTube.
Go check it out.
Yeah, it features Roger Martin, who was running a martial arts studio just like next door to our office.
All right.
So we went over and talked to him, and it was like, hey, you want to be in a movie? And he's like, we need somebody. We want to do martial arts, and we want to be an action film. And
Karate Kid.
Yeah. So the whole premise was, this underground fight club going on. Dudes, he owes the promoter, and he wants out, and this is the last fight he's going to do, whatever. But there's going to be more fight. He's like, the owner doesn't want to let him go. So they end up killing his girlfriend, and then he goes ham on everybody and just kills everybody.
Well, there's the spoilers. You don't have to go watch anymore.
Well, yeah, you're not going to watch. I mean, it follows a formula. And so if you've ever seen one of those movies, it follows the formula. But it's the spectacle of it that you have to watch. But anyway, so that was the script idea. And so we were like, let's film it in the old creamery. It's right across from SRB.
Okay.
That's abandoned.
Yeah.
And
that was a creamery?
Yeah, it was nasty in there. Yeah. So, but we cleaned it up as much as we could. And we even had a stunt where he falls off the second level into a table and got a big, gymnastics mat and had to fall at the second level. It was really fun. You
had stunts in this thing.
Yes, it had stunts, martial arts, blood, gunfire, a whole 9 yards. So we did all of that in that 2 weeks. Wrote it, shot it, edited it, 2 weeks, got it at the premiere, got a good pat on the back from the Valiant guys. They were like, that was really fun. And it's kind of like, that was awesome. We pulled it off, and it was a great success.
Those are stories that you like to tell, because it's like there's so many. They're not problems that come up, but there's so many things like, oh gosh, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? And then
there's a lot of problems solving.
Seeing that product at the end is very rewarding.
Yeah.
Now to pivot a little bit.
Yeah.
Biggest failures. Is there anything where you lost a big chunk of money, you made a big mistake, you burnt a bridge with a client? Is there any failures like that where you wish you could have went back?
Oh yeah.
Probably.
Lots.
Probably more than one. I know I have more than one.
Yeah, lots. I'm trying to think of one that would be a good story. I can't really think of one that's super interesting right now, but one I will share is like the mentoring and coaching programs that are out there.
Yep.
They're good, but they're also bad. Like, don't get suckered into the high price ones, because you will lose money on some of these.
The return's not there.
The return, you just got to be careful. I've had some really good ones where, you pay to be in a program that's going to help you, coach your business and all this stuff, and whatever. And it goes for not just a business, but like other things. There's film programs and things like that out there that
oh yeah.
I'm not going to say they're scams, but just know the difference on that, because I've gotten burnt a couple of times, and that
know what you're getting.
That's probably
and what you're paying for.
Because I lost quite a bit of money on one particular program, and I'm not going to name it because it might be right for somebody else. It just wasn't right for me, and it was just like, I can't believe I spent all that money on that, and I got jack crap out of it, and it was just like, I just remember feeling like so. It was a huge failure.
Defeated.
Yeah, it was defeated. It was like, I just spent all this money, I got nothing to show for it. And it's like,
no way to get it back.
Yeah, no way to get it back. And it's like, how?
That's one thing. I've taken a couple of filmmaking courses, and these are filmmaking courses I'll shout out, but Full-Time Filmmaker is one of them.
He's good. Yeah.
Parker Walbeck, and then Real Deal Video Strategist Club. I just joined here a couple months ago. David Bibiano, I think his name is.
I haven't seen that
one. And he kind of teaches you the videos that work, videos that don't, kind of gives you ideas. And that one's good too. I haven't finished it yet, but both those courses, when I signed up, they allow you for your money back after however long, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one thing, and not all courses have that, but this one thing I look at, I'm like, okay, if this really doesn't work for me, can I get out of it?
Yeah.
So, when you are looking at courses like that, those are things to look at.
Yeah. And there was one that is really good, Eric Thane's.
The lighting one. I've seen that on Facebook a couple times.
Yeah. His is really good. He's a really good dude. I met him in person a couple of years ago, and
really? That's sweet.
He's a cool dude. The one I'm mentioning is more of a business one.
Yep.
And it was just a lot of big talk and like
fluff.
It was too systemized. Like it was they had gotten to the point where they were just an assembly line. Like they didn't really
cookie cutter.
Yeah, it was very cookie cutter, and it was like you were in a group of like 10 other people and everybody gets a few minutes to speak. And then it's like, they give you these bullshit lines of like tasks to do. Like you gotta go do these posts and do this thing. And then like, gotta develop this offer in such a way. It was trying to like, we were trying to fit everybody into one mold.
Oh, okay.
And it's like this.
Nothing was personalized.
Nothing was personalized. And it's like, I get that there is an overarching concept to sales and running a business and all that. And there's core principles that apply to no matter what. But that's
but
not
you
what
want
I'm
something
for.
applicable to Adam Dyess Bakery,
right?
Or whatever it might be.
What I had signed up for in that particular course was like, I got all these pieces that I need help putting together to like deal with certain situations and like how am I supposed to tailor? Like how am I supposed to take this core principle and tailor it to what I'm doing?
Yeah,
like I need assistance on that, and it was more of like, have you done all your checklist stuff? And I'm
and
like,
it's like, no, I don't want to do the checklist stuff.
I
want to do this.
Yeah, no. It was like, you're on these scheduled calls.
Yeah.
Everybody else, and it's like, when am I getting this one-on-one time?
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
Yeah.
So yeah, just make sure you guys are actually vetting for these
vetting.
courses you're joining. So just to wrap it up here, I got a couple of fun questions for you, and this can kind of be rapid fire. We don't have to go super deep into it, but
I'm gonna get some of my lemon
some Sprite. There you go. No free ads. Turn that label towards the back wall. Just kidding. Sprite, if you want to sponsor this, let us know.
Then we turn that.
There you go. Who even owns Sprite?
The Pepsi people do, I think.
Yeah, Pepsi, if you want to sponsor.
I think
Too bad, because it's presented by Bennett Creative Media. Okay, so film talk we're going to get into. Top 5 movies.
Damn it. I knew you were going to ask this question.
And we won't hold this to you. Like, we won't hold you to
I tell you what, I'm gonna go top to bottom, and it's going to just be what's currently in my brain.
Recency bias, that's fine.
Yeah, a little bit. Not necessarily, but just ones I always go to.
Yeah.
So we'll start with like Gladiator.
Okay.
It's a great movie that I loved. Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies.
The first one?
The first one.
3?
I like the second one too. Third one, not so much. It's okay.
I have this thing where I think movie series, 2 you can get away with. The third one is never good. I don't know any series where the third one I've really liked. There may be a couple. Out there that might be squeak by, but like Back to the Future 3, not great. High School Musical 3, not great. Hangover 3.
Do you just go from Back to the Future to High School Musical?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God.
I haven't even seen it, to be honest with you, in 15 years.
Wow.
And there's a reason. There's a reason.
Oh my God. Okay. So what is that? That's 5 and 4.
Yep.
I want to say RoboCop.
Okay. That's an interesting answer.
Watched that one again recently, and it holds up so well. I love Peter Verhoeven. So good. So that, and then my top 2 would be Evil Dead 2.
Okay. Never seen that one. I'll watch it. I'll add it to my list.
Damn it.
I'll add it to my list.
You don't have to watch Evil Dead 1 because Evil Dead 2 is kind of a remake almost.
Okay.
The first part of it's kind of a recap of the first one, and they reshot everything. So
okay.
Evil Dead 2. You need to watch it.
Okay.
Amazing.
Adding it to my list.
And then number 1, oh shit, there's some other movies I need to put on there.
Yeah. That's what happens when you ask this question. You're like, oh shit.
I may replace either Back to the Future or Gladiator with Multiplicity.
Okay, we'll give you 6.
Okay, Multiplicity is definitely in there. Multiplicity with Michael Keaton, amazing movie. Number 1 movie, I argue this is one of the best movies ever made. Tremors. Can't say I've ever seen that either. I need to write both of these down. Tremors is near goddamn perfect movie because it's great script writing. The thing that makes it great is the characters.
Okay.
Feel so real in that movie.
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon and Ed Harris. Not Ed Harris.
Ed Helms.
Damn it, no.
Not Ed Helms?
I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Fred
Couples, the golfer?
Damn it.
It's
Fred,
I'll pull
it's
it
not
up.
Ed.
I'll pull it up
Fred.
here for you. Maybe. Tremors cast.
Yeah. Fred, what's his last name?
Kevin Bacon, Reuben McIntyre, Finn Carter, Fred Ward.
Boom,
Fred Ward.
I'm sorry, Fred Ward.
He's gonna be pissed at you.
Yeah, it's not CGI. All the effects are practical.
Really,
the practical special effects are amazing.
Okay.
There's only one shot in the whole thing that doesn't really work anymore. It's a very very brief shot where they tried to do like a composite back screen thing, and it looks bad. But there's some really awesome.
I'll have to watch that one. I haven't seen that one either.
Shots in that movie, and it's funny. It's the comedic timing and the chemistry that those two main characters have is just amazing. I've watched that movie so many times. I can recite pretty much the whole thing.
Cool. Well, that means I got 2 more movies to add to my list. I don't know what I would do for my top 5. I know there's a few on there. I think Forrest Gump's a great movie. I like.
We watched that last night.
7.
7 is amazing.
That's probably my top 5 for sure. I like Fight Club. I don't know if I'd put it in my top 5.
Fight Club is amazing. See, now you're making me regret all my choices.
Exactly. And Saving Private Ryan. I think that might be in my top. The Hangover is a good comedy that's up there. But yeah, there's just so many. Shawshank Redemption.
I put that one on repeat a lot.
There's so many that you just forget.
It's very
about.
Unfair to ask somebody.
You almost have to do genres. Which next time we have you on, we'll have you do genres.
Genres would be better. Yeah.
I got 2 more questions for you. Favorite directors.
Favorite directors. Sam Raimi is definitely one of my favorite directors. I would say James Cameron, but I mean, he hasn't put anything out in a long. Yeah. I know Avatar 2 is coming out soon.
They've been working on that for
kind of
10 years.
But Terminator 2, True Lies, Titanic, those are all amazing movies. Christopher Nolan, is amazing.
His movies are crazy because he's the one that's done Tenet and Inception and that, right?
Yeah. And the Batman trilogy. Yeah. And David Cronenberg is another one of my favorites.
I don't know if David Sandberg is who I'm thinking of.
David Cronenberg did Scanners, The Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
I haven't.
Dead Ringers, Videodrome. He hasn't done a whole lot. He's got a new movie that's coming out. Apparently, it's going to be back to his true form. He's done some recent movies, but they haven't been big hits.
I would say David Fincher might be my top one.
David Fincher's in that list too. Yeah.
I really like David Fincher. Yeah. Okay, now the last question I got for you here. You get 5 pieces of equipment to shoot a short film.
Oh.
This includes camera body, lenses, lighting, everything. You get 5 things. What are you picking?
So the camera isn't... How far are you breaking down the camera?
Body, just the body. You need to pick a body.
You
need to pick a body.
The lens counts as a second.
Correct.
Well, obviously, then I have to have a camera body and a camera lens. So
what are you going with?
What am I going with?
What camera? Like what actual items you picking? Anything.
Anything?
Anything available.
Probably go with the Alexa.
Okay.
And I'd probably go with some Zeiss lenses.
What focal length are you rocking with?
Do I just get one lens or do I get a lens kit?
You can pick a body and 4 lenses and then you're just gonna have no audio and you're gonna have to shoot natural light. But
well, then I would obviously I could probably go with a prime. I'd probably go with like an 85.
Really? Shoot the whole movie? Well, if I know Adam Dyess, I know he's going tight.
I said that just for you.
Yeah, an 85.
I'd shoot a whole short film.
You're not seeing any establishers.
No. It also depends on what the short film was. If it was a comedy, then I'd probably go with like a 50 or a 35.
Okay.
But if it's avant-garde or horror or something like that, I'm going 85.
The whole movie?
Yeah.
You're not going zoom lens? You're just going prime?
I would go prime, yeah. I'd shoot the whole thing on 85.
Okay. I would need some. I don't know. I'd need something. I'd either go 35 or like a 24-70. I might even do 2 lenses, but
it's a short film, so I'm going stylized. I'm like
true.
But the thing that us film geeks talk about afterwards, he shot the whole thing on 180, an 85 prime.
You need something. You need something to brag about after.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you got the Alexa.
Okay,
you got,
so I got
85.
Then I'm going with a boom mic. I mean, you just go
top one you can get.
Top one I can get a
Sennheiser,
probably Sennheiser, and then
there's 3.
Probably a Zoom or something to record with, whatever you're recording.
Recorder. I'll count that as just an audio package.
Okay, so
that could be 1.
Okay, so the mic and the recorder get to go together, but the camera and the lens don't get to go together.
No way.
Jesus, do I have to count my media cards?
Nope.
Okay, those come with.
They'd come with. Yep.
All right, fine. So
you got 3. So I
got 1 more piece. Oh no, you gave me that
2.
One. So I got 2
you got
pieces.
2. So you got the mic.
So then I got to go with 2 lights.
Let's just pretend you can plug the mic directly into the Alexa. Call it a day.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Can you do that? You might have preamps on there. Mini XLR.
But you're giving I've never used it. So let's not talk about it anymore. You change your mind.
There you go. So you got lens.
I gotta go with 2 lights.
I got an 85, an Alexa, and you got a Sennheiser, whatever.
Yep. And I'm going with some kind of soft light. Set up.
Like a panel.
Yeah, unless you're gonna give me like accessories for the lights.
No.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with like a panel light.
A sky panel.
Yeah, and then go with whatever LED/Fresnel light that I can get.
Okay. Bicolor? Are you going daylight balance?
Yeah. If
You got no gels.
I can get.
You got no gels.
Yeah, I would go bicolor, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like
It also depends though, because it's a short film, and I could shoot the whole thing in one color.
That's true. That's pretty good. I'd probably pick the sound.
Yeah,
I'd go Alexa Mini LF, whatever it's called.
Yep.
I'd go probably 2 lights.
2 lights and 2 lenses, and then you're done.
2 lights. No, I'd go 1 lens. I would probably go 24-70. I would sacrifice the sharpness of the lenses for the ability to go wider and 70. I like my establishers. I really like them.
Yeah. Well, again,
Yeah.
it depends on what the movie was.
It's very true. Well, that's all I got for you. Adam, where can people find you on the interweb?
I am on the social medias, and dicemedia.com, webfunnelexpress.com, Adam Dyess on Facebook. I got, Dyess Media on Facebook. I don't know if we got a Web Funnel Express on Facebook.
You just search Adam Dyess and you'll find it.
Adam
You'll
Dyess
find all
might
this
not
stuff.
should come up. There is another Adam Dyess out there.
Really?
Yeah.
So search mine, plug it in after that.
Yeah,
Otherwise
you might get some, because you will find another Adam Dyess.
You might get some goofball. But yeah, there's a lot we left out. We try to keep these relatively digestible. We don't want to go 3 hours here, but we'll have to have you back on because I know you got the web funnels and you got all that other stuff we didn't even bring in. So, Adam, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you guys for watching episode 2 of the Minot Business Podcast. Hit like, hit subscribe if you enjoyed watching this, and we will see you guys next week for episode 3.
Peace.